So thank you again for your email. It was very inspirational. We've been working really hard and heads down, and it's sort of good to get someone who sees the value of what we're working on.
Indeed. I'm excited, and I don't say that a lot.
Uh-huh.
and because I see the potential and what it can do across so many different markets.
Absolutely.
And because it's new and we're so accustomed to seeing YouTube videos, and we can be quite creatures of habit.
Right.
And then we don't necessarily see the potential of something new like this, wherein it's not just chatting. When I had the experience myself with the test video on the website with the Ford car.
Sure.
And I was kind of blown away because I've seen some other kind of video chat and engagement type things, but I'd never had a video stop and wait for me to do something and then start playing again.
Right.
That was cool. That really right there is what really sold me. That was the coolest
nice.
thing.
Oh, very nice.
So even though this video has officially started, I still need to introduce you
Sure.
and allow people to know who you are. For those watching this video, I want to introduce to you Mr. Shawn Hopwood, CEO and founder of SceneChat. And I'm excited about what you are doing there in Silicon Valley. Please explain what SceneChat is and how it came about.
Sure. So SceneChat is a social video interactive platform.
Mm-hmm.
It's aimed at marketers, social video enthusiasts. It's designed to be a very flexible, very powerful, very easy way to create engaging experiences without having to migrate content to a specialized service or hire engineers or Flash programmers to create the interactivity.
Okay.
So it came about from a very simple need a couple of years ago to share a video and actually have more than the video itself just be shared. I wanted to share a particular scene in a video and annotate that scene and present a non-linear interaction into the video. In other words, I had a video. I didn't want to just have it shared and have it played from one point.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to do more with the video, and there was really no tools that enables you to do that. If you wanted to do it with the existing tools, it costs a lot of money. You sign up for a tool like Brightcove or Ooyala.
Mm-hmm.
It requires you to move the content from where it currently sits, and if you're using YouTube or Vimeo or JW Player or something of that nature, you'd have to move the content into those products just to get the interactivity that you wanted. And so we began a process of sort of taking a look at the video players on the market and what presented such a hurdle that made this, again, sharing of the video and adding interactivity so difficult. And essentially what we found was each company wanted to have their own siloed, full-blown system where they owned all aspects of the product, of the interactivity, of the video uploading process. And what we wanted, again, was something that anyone could use, they could get started right away, it was affordable, and provided the interactivity that they wanted. Just a little bit about my background. I worked for Apple in the interactive media group from about 92 to 97. So in early days of QuickTime, QuickDraw 3D, and various interactive technologies at Apple. So I've been doing video interactivity for quite a long time. In fact, I left. I was the director of the Internet Technology Group at Dolby Labs for about 2 years when I actually left and founded this company to, again, explore interactivity, socialization around video online.
Okay. How do you define video socialization? It's a long word, but but simplify for those who are not techie.
Sure. Well, I think, it could be as simple as providing the tools necessary for someone to share a piece of content. That's the simplest form. Where I think it's going, and what we're trying to build a tool to enable, is what we're calling liquid content. And what that means, liquid content. And what that means essentially is providing the tools to consumers that they can provide storytelling and storytelling around that content and push that content out to their social network. So they can, if you're a brand, let's say you're Patagonia, we want to be able to provide the tools that enables Patagonia's customers to tell their experiences with Patagonia and share those experiences with their friends and their network. And what they want to do is use the assets from Patagonia to tell their story. So they would use the digital assets from the brand and then add their voice to it and provide that into the marketplace. And so, again, at the bottom end, you have a video that simply can be shared, and we know what can happen with that, virality. And so what we want to do is add on top of that the ability for them to not only share the video, but tell their story in relation to that video. Okay. And so that's, again, that if you move through that continuum, our goal is at the top end of the continuum to provide the tools that enable them to tell stories.
Okay. Now, as with most startups, share what were some of the initial challenges in going from the more corporate to starting out on your own and to doing something, a whole new application and business?
I think the biggest issue is defining your minimally viable product, right? So you have this, we have a very big vision around what we want to enable, and so where do you start, and how do you provide a tool that has value without having to build the entire thing, right? Because it takes years to build the entire thing, and so how do you put forward a tool that is immediately useful, that allows you to build upon it and do it in a way that is, it's quick. You get to the market fast. You reach the right people with it. The messaging is correct, especially if you don't have all the features that you intend to have in the final version. So that presents a problem across the board, whether it's with investors, whether it's with customers, or even the team that you're working with, because you probably know, when you're with a small team or a startup in a big marketplace, you tend to pivot a lot. You start you start going down one path, and you realize, you have to go, switch and go in another path, but yet still keeping the vision intact. Okay. And so that presents some challenges.
When did you know in the beginning stages that you had somewhat of a game changer? When did it kind of click that, okay, I'm onto something? I'm a little bit ahead of the game, where most people are still just figuring out what social TV is and just trying to figure out online video marketing. When did you know, okay, I got something?
Interestingly enough, it's, I guess there's two ways you can know, right? When you get direct feedback from, people who use the tool and give you that feedback, that's always, the most obvious one. People see what you see. But I think the other more elusive one that I think that clicked with us was as we looked across what brands were doing and what they were telling the industry that they were going to be doing in the future. And when that aligns with your thinking, you start to make that, again, that click that, hey, if we can provide a tool to enable what these brands are asking for, you'll be able to supply that marketplace. And so probably about a year or so ago, as we started to talk with brands and as they were moving their content to the web, we sort of, hearing the same thing, which is the web is a big place. We won't be able to provide all of the marketing capabilities to suffice the various consumers that are in the marketplace. And so what we need to move toward is a model that leverages our brand ambassadors, and it makes them more powerful. In other words, so I'll look at the fellow's name and I'll shoot this to you. But the fellow who's the head of VP, he's the VP of marketing for Coca-Cola.
Mm-hmm.
He actually coined the term liquid content, and it's kind of interesting, Coca-Cola and liquid content. But he sort of summarized it in this liquid content notion of, again, empowering the consumers to be your brand ambassadors. And so they were talking about, ways to use existing tools to do that, and the need for new tools to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as we heard this sort of, language, we said this is exactly what we're trying to do. And one of the biggest brands in the world sort of sees that as an opportunity, so we're on to something.
Okay. Now, for those YouTubers and Vimeo users who are trying to figure out how this overlay, I think that's a good way to put it, really works. Explain exactly how YouTube and Vimeo videos work with SceneChat.
Sure. So the first thing is that we just, again, to negate to mitigate the need of migrating content, because as you probably know, there's a lot of YouTube users. We know that. There's a lot of Vimeo users. But there are a lot of other, whether it's Break.com or it's JDB Player or Flow Player or Kaltura Player. There's a lot of standalone players that want interactivity, as we mentioned. And so our goal was to design something that can fit onto these players using the APIs that the players put out, and to provide that functionality, the interactive functionality. And so we built a way to interface to that video so our drop-down, we call it our engagement bar. It attaches to the video, and then our tool enables the consumer to create, or the marketer to create, interactivity that links the engagement bar to scenes in the video. And so, and that experience that they create could be migrated onto any other video, whether it's in that player, or moved to another player and kept intact. Mm-hmm. So, you may have a number of videos across a number of different players, and you can have the same experience running on all of them. And so that's number one. That's the first thing that we had to solve. The second thing that we had to solve was the ability for that video that you create, or that experience that you create, to move where you want it to move. Mm-hmm. And so, for example, you may want it to be on your blog. You may want it to run inside of Facebook. You may want to just have a standalone player or standalone page where that experience is running on. And so we had to build all those interfaces to, again, meet the needs of the marketplace. Because, as you know, some people have their own sites, and some people don't.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the most interesting things was, one of the first things that caught my attention was how often you see a video and you say, at this time is the best stuff. Skip everything before this and just go right to 7 minutes and 30 seconds into the video. Absolutely. And then you write your comment about this is the great video. And then you can take that comment and share it via Twitter, via Facebook, or start a whole conversation right there, wherever the video is. Absolutely.
So we actually filed a patent on what we call a conversational URL. And what that is, for every scene in the video that's shared, we create a new URL that ties to that particular scene. Mm-hmm. And all the comments related to that particular scene can be aggregated and viewed at that particular spot. And so with our tool, the user is able to either have a free-form comment at a particular point, where everyone can comment on that and share it and tweet it, that particular comment, or they can have multiple choice questions or structured questions that just simply ask multiple choice, polls, and again, those polls and that feedback can be tweeted or so forth. So our goal is to not make video a black box, right? Video currently is a black box. When you share, as you mentioned, for most of the video that's out there, when you share a video, you're sharing the entire thing, and you really don't get a sense of what's happening inside this video. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you why that. We're obviously pretty excited about what we're working on, but Also, the marketers that we're working on are excited. And this is the biggest reason why. Most, as you know, 8 years of videos uploaded to YouTube a day.
Mm-hmm.
So there's almost no way to consume the content that's being put up, or just on one site alone.
Mm-hmm.
And so consumers need tools that allow them to quickly navigate the video. And that part of the problem that we see, or marketers see, is that roughly 40% of people leave a video or abandon a video within the first 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you spent a lot of money and a lot of effort to get an audience, and half of them, almost 40% are gone before it even really starts to tell your story, it's a little bit of a problem. 60% of people are usually gone 2 minutes into the video. I mean, so again, you have 60%, more than half of your audience is gone. And so interactivity, we know that video drives engagement, but one of the things that interactivity does, it drives engagement longer.
Mm-hmm.
And it drives conversion, right? As we know, all marketer, whether it's the Old Spice, video or any video that's put out, people want to drive brand impression, but they also want to drive conversions, right? They want to drive a sign up of a newsletter. They want to drive the cash register. They want to sign up, for a test drive. They want the consumer to not only experience the video and engage with the video, but they want to take an action.
Yes.
And so that is what we've focused our tool on, is increasing the length of time that people interact with the video, as well as driving the next level of either where are you in the buying cycle, or let's move you through the buying cycle. And so what we created was a tool that allows the marketers to do that.
I think one of the other great things about it is the fact that on the back end, there's always a big conversation about ROI. Not ROI.
ROI.
Yeah, not Rio.
Absolutely, right.
And the beautiful thing is, on the back end that I've seen thus far, you have the analytics that you need, to do a report to convince someone that, not only did they watch this, but these are the points in the video that were the best. So you have a good sense of, as a video producer, as a content producer, what kinds of content or what kinds of items need to go into your video to keep that engagement going from start to finish.
And I couldn't agree with you more. And additionally, as a video producer, clearly you have to take a stand on the linear sequence of how things progress.
Mm-hmm.
But not everyone necessarily has to follow that same sequence, right? And so for example, we have a customer that we're working with, they're doing videos for financial institutions. And so each person has a different financial issue. Mm-hmm. And so as this person is watching the video, one of the things they do is they ask questions that allows them to ascertain where this person is in their financial issue. Based on how they answer the question, we then navigate to various points in the video that speaks to that person's particular issue. So for example, a question could be, is your credit report over a certain number? Mm-hmm. Or have you filed for bankruptcy? I mean, let's hope no one does that. But depending on the way they answer the question, you could jump to a part in the video that addresses that person's issue, mm-hmm. without having them wasting time watching things that are unrelated. Mm-hmm. And so that video is currently linear, but it doesn't have to be, right? You could move to any part of the video depending on the person's answer. And so from that perspective, if you think about a brand, they may say, well, what is your relationship to this brand? Have you experienced this brand before? Have you driven this car before? Do you know anyone that owns this product? You can ask these questions to get familiarity with a person's brand perception, and then based on their answers, deliver them parts of the video that pertain or can answer or can supplement what they already know or don't know. Mm-hmm. Again, using the full power of the video and the interaction with the consumer to make some good decisions.
I see so much potential with this with independent filmmakers, or just in entertainment, because I do have a background in entertainment. And that was probably one of the other first things or second things that popped into my mind as an independent filmmaker, when you have your trailer, and you
Yes,
have that kind of, you have an opportunity to really bring people into the story, bring people into the trailer, as opposed to generally we just watch the trailer and then we move on to the next thing. But now you have an opportunity to really convince a potential ticket buyer to really see your movie if you use the SceneChat correctly.
absolutely. And we think there's two ways that in that particular example that could work. The first is you may not, as you design and edit a trailer. I mean, again, there's a million different ways that trailer can be put forward.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what's useful is you could put together a pre-trailer, if you will, that allows the consumer to indicate how the trailer should progress. So the trailer could progress, and you say which scene should we show next, and then have the consumer choose, and then you essentially have multiple versions of the trailer that the consumer has given you some indication of what's working, what's not working. In other words, they're putting together their vision for how the trailer should progress. And again, going back to this notion of liquid content, you sort of see where that begins to tie in, where if you put the consumer at the helm of helping to tell your story, not only does it engage them further into your product or your film, but it gets their friends involved, because typically if they do something that they believe is creative,
Mm-hmm.
they socially share it. So that brings more people back to look at your experience based on the fact they were the ones creating it. And again, that goes to this notion of liquid content.
Mm-hmm. The that also brings to mind how small businesses could also use this particular tool. Especially small businesses often look at some of these applications and they'll say, okay, we can't utilize that. That's for the bigger brands. That's for the big boys. But I do see plenty of opportunities here for a small business owner to use an online video with SceneChat and really potentially get that potential customer off the couch or wherever they see the video into a physical store or to make a purchase online, thanks to that kind of engagement.
I couldn't agree with you more. And we're adding more tools to the product to get to your, to do what you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, we're adding the ability for you to indicate a map. For example, if someone says, sure, I'll sign up for a test drive. Well, show them a map right then and there where they can go and see, a local business, or they could walk into the store. Or sign up, would you like to sign up for a coupon
Mm-hmm.
for a product? And then deliver that coupon directly to the consumer. So, again, video is great for engagement. Interactivity is great for conversion. And so that's exactly what we're building. I should mention the other, so the current tool has the interactivity is relegated into the drop-down in the engagement bar.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because, we want to make it portable, the video, so that's portable. But the other thing that we're creating, we'll be announcing in our next couple of days, is the ability for you to synchronize other things on the page to a point in the video. So video is on a page. You may want to indicate a frame on the top or the bottom that, again, supplements your message. And so we're enabling that to occur as well for the experiences that people create and serve out of our system.
Wow.
Where the page exists on our site. Again, unfortunately, because it's a full page and the video is just a piece of that page, we can't move the interactivity if you, for example, put it in Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the page that you create will provide, again, in-page synchronized experience that we think is going to be pretty powerful.
Okay. You're creating quite a buzz because Fast Company has deemed you one of four? One
Correct.
of four companies to really, one of the hot companies to look out for in 2012. How does that kind of make you feel? Does that put an extra added pressure? Or is it just, okay, we're not going to focus on that and just keep pushing?
One of our advisors, who is the founder of North Face, Hap Club, gave great advice when we first started. There's a lot of things around that's going to happen around you, whether it's raising money or not closing a round of financing, press that's either bad press or really good press. You can't focus on those things. Focus on your vision. Focus on executing the business and the product. All the things that, if it's good, and the investors will come. If it's good, the press will come. And those things will help you achieve your goals.
Mm-hmm.
They, don't focus on them, because as much as you can get good press, you can get bad press. And so, it's helped, again, to make us feel good that we're on the right track. But, it hasn't, one article doesn't make a company. Our goal is to get tens and hundreds of good articles.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to, continue to build a good company and a good product.
Okay. Right now, is it accessible to everyone, or is it in beta right now? Just test
currently. So as of last week, we opened it up to anyone. So anyone can sign up. We have a forever free option.
Mm-hmm.
People who want to get in, kick the tires, create experiences, and they're not looking to build an audience. They're just looking to experiment with the tool.
Mm-hmm.
Or for bloggers or casual individuals who just want to tell a story and get that out to their friends and family, or through their network. And so we ask that they don't go over 200 views a month. We've had some, it's only been a couple of weeks, but we already have people who've started to build experiences that are way past the 200
Mm-hmm.
video mark,
Mm-hmm.
View mark. But we're not going to be that draconian, right? Because people are getting used to it and building experiences. And if we have to adjust our plans, will do so, because we're focused on brand agencies, marketers, people who are looking to create experiences and deploy them very broadly.
Okay.
I should also mention that we've received a lot of interest from companies overseas and in all parts of the world that want access to the same tool, or access to video sites. For example, in China, we started working with a company called Youku. That's the YouTube equivalent, because YouTube is not available in China.
Yeah.
They want to put our tool on that product and interface with the Chinese social networks. And so we're taking a look at that sort of interface as well.
Okay.
That sort of expansion. So it's all happening really fast, which is good. We've only been out for 2 weeks, and the interest has been pretty good.
So are you done with your round of initial funding, or are you still looking for funding?
Always looking for funding.
Mm-hmm.
We've learned that lesson. So we just closed in a round with some pretty good angel investors. Joe Morgan, Hall of Famer, formerly on the board of Del Monte, was the lead angel. We're raising $1.5 million to add more engineering to the team, so we can add more features to the product, so we can scale to support some of the global initiatives that we see coming. So we're working with Wilson Sonsini, who's an attorney here in the Valley, and our goal is to raise $1.5 million.
Okay. So overall, what do you want to see what's your vision, your future for SceneChat? Where do you want to see it go?
So our goal is, as I mentioned, our vision is this notion of enabling anyone to be a participant in storytelling, using video as the mechanism for doing that. And whether it's just adding their commentary and socializing, or building new experiences and socializing. So our goal is to maintain the performance and flexibility that we have with the product, but make it easier so that more people can access it.
Okay.
And so our future is ease of use. To take what we have and make it easier for anyone to use it.
Wonderful. And how can people learn more about the application? Basically do a shout out to your social profiles, to your website, things of that nature.
You mean for how can they learn about SceneChat?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have a Facebook page, obviously, but SceneChat.com is probably the best way.
Okay.
Urge anyone to sign up for the free account, or if they're a marketer and they want to speak to us about launching a campaign, we're available directly as well. We've kept our prices for the online. We call this the self-serve version, so you can go online and do what you need, using the tool. For companies that have bigger audiences, just give us a call or drop us an email, and we'll work with you to design campaigns. one of the things we actually started to do for ad agencies is to work with them on scripting, scripting campaigns that, for example, for the U.S. Army, to script campaigns that aid in recruitment. And so we sit down with them and work with them to figure out what exactly they're trying to accomplish, and then design that into the interaction.
Okay. Well, that's it. Thank you so very much for taking some time out of I know your busy schedule to talk with me. And again, I'm quite excited about the product and the potentiality that I see across so many different businesses and genres of content. So kudos.
Thank you. Well, you haven't seen anything yet. I mean, we have our roadmap is pretty long, so I think you'll be pleased with how you see the product developing.